Tuples. So tuples are another data type in Python and are very, very similar to lists. The only, well, not the only, but the main difference between lists and tuples are if you have a list of items, you're allowed to change the values. So for example, if I have a list, I could change, and it has 10 items, I could change the value of the third item to 7. And then a moment later, I could change the value of the third item to 5. So you're allowed to change the values of the items in the list. In a tuple, you're not. So a tuple is like a list, but you don't change the values. It's like it's a constant list. It's not supposed to change. What they say in programming terms is it's immutable. You can't change it. So you created something similar like you would a list. So here I am, I'm creating a variable in line 7, and I'm calling it my tuple. But instead of using square brackets, I'm using normal rounded brackets. So that's actually creating a tuple with the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So think of it as a list whose items can't change. That list now called my tuple, the item at position 0, 1, 2, the item at position 2 will always be 3. You can't change it to something else. And now when I print it out, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming out. Here you go, I'm creating another tuple. And I'm just demonstrating this to you. You can actually create tuples and leave out the brackets around it. Now this is something I don't recommend. I would always put my brackets around it, but you can actually do it without the brackets. So this can look a little bit strange at first, but what's actually happening is it's creating a tuple with the items 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50 in it. And then you can access the elements in a tuple just like the way you would a list. So for example, the second item in the tuple, another tuple is, and then you put down the name of the tuple, angle brackets, and then the index number. So the second item is at index 1. So that's index 0, that's at index 1. So I put in 1 there. This would give me an error. So I've commented out. If I try to change the item at position at index 1 to 7, it would give an error because you're not allowed to change the values of the items in a tuple. So let me run it. There you go. This print statement is printing out this line here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This print statement here is, look, the second item in the tuple is 20. And had I commented that in, actually let me just comment it in and let me show you the error. If I was to try and run it, there you go, I'm getting an error saying tuple object does not support item assignment. You can't assign a new value to an item. So I'll comment that back out again. So you can think of a list as, you can think of a tuple as a sort of a constant list, a list that does not change.